Mr. Laureano, this is Tim too, talking about the video that you sent us. And we have concluded after watching the video that any company designed for success in the 20th century is doomed to failure in the 21st, as said in the video. So now we're going to go through some of the bullet points that support that statement. So now we're going to start talking a little bit about disruptive innovation. And disruptive innovation is a practice that has been adopted more in these recent days and wasn't very accepted. And it is still not very accepted to these days.
So one thing that disruptive innovation has caused is success. That is something that we don't deny, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And plus, we are a generation that is constantly looking to innovate. So this applies perfectly to our generation and future businesses that we might create.
I believe, yeah, that's the case because in our generations, we were born into this whole idea that everything needs to be fast, quick, and quality. And so we expect more from companies. And so I believe that as we go to work in these new companies, will help change companies into that direction if we are allowed to.
I remember an example that was in the video about Walmart. They were doing enough to innovate. So like they wanted to be like Amazon, more or less. And I remember that they tried like 3 or 4 times to help their platform, but they stuck to their old business model. And it took them over years like to finally be up to par with Amazon, but they took so long that they will never be as good as them. But they, in terms of the technology, they are on par.
Yeah, to be a successful business nowadays, you have to be constantly innovating and you have to be very versatile because it's very easy to, to stay back because competition is constantly looking to get better.
Correct. And as we have seen, they talked about legacy. People that are in charge are already used to the way things are run and they don't want to change. And when someone comes and presents this idea, as they said in the video, people have been told like, stop having ideas and go back to work. And so this is where the disruptive innovation comes in. And what Walmart did, they tried to set up the team, but they failed 3 times because they would not allow the disruptive team to do what they were supposed to. They wanted to keep the same chain of supply, but when they told them like improve it, even though we already have the best one, that's when they succeeded and were able to compete against Amazon.
And absolutely.
Yeah, actually, in the Q&A at the end, I think the first question was if my manager isn't letting me, create and explore new ways of being. The guy speaking said like, if your manager isn't with you and within your ideas, to get out, to look for another business or start your own, because you need to be with people that allow you to explore and innovate.
Correct. Yeah. And so I completely agree. And now it is easier than ever. I mean, it's not absolutely easy, but way more than before to start something new, as the video talks also about how technology is advancing faster than we can imagine or perceive. And it is even cheaper every day. Like the cost of photography before, you had to buy the roll and then to have the picture revealed, it was like €1 and it would take days. Now you can take lots of photos for free, and that way we can also access many technologies like solar power, the internet, and a lot more that can help us get out of the business and start a new one. So yeah, I also saw that in the video, how technology is exponentially getting cheaper and performing better.
A prime example of that is the Google car thing, the camera on top of the car. It's I'm pretty sure it said that it was $75,000 by 2013, I think, and nowadays it's only $50. So technology is always going cheaper and cheaper and cheaper and cheaper, and this is something that many companies need to take advantage of.
And exactly, because also, as it was stated in the video, at first it's very complicated to imagine that such technology it will be accessible. Like right now there's a technology that might amaze us now, but in the future we'll see it as normal. So you have to you have to be constantly open-minded, especially if you're running a business, because you never know. Like nowadays, you don't know what's impossible. Really, anything can happen.
People need to be open to change.
Exactly.
And another point that they said is do not practice disruptive innovation, at the core of the organizations, because you will face political opposition and political debate. So in case you do want to practice it inside of the company, not leave and make another one, as they said, take the crazy people with you and work with them in another room, and leave all the people with legacy, all the people that want to do things the same way, behind, and then present them the ideas, and then introduce them and try to develop the projects that you have been talking to with this disruptive innovation teams.
Yeah, and I feel like that's definitely the key to survive, as the quote said, for this century and for the next one. Like, you have to be able to separate your team and be like, okay, these guys have the crazy ideas, and then let's work on that, and then let's present the ideas to the people, as we said, with legacy. You know, so instead of being one against the other, it's like teamwork. You know, so that's how you grow your business nowadays.
So talking about crazy, let's talk about Elon Musk, which we all know. So in the video, we saw that he wanted to make a shuttle thing from LA to San Francisco, and it said that it was 4,000 miles in 20 minutes. So the thing that this guy said was that he told Elon that you can kill people if you go like that. And most of the time, people would say just stop and forget the idea. But see, in the present, people start to think like bigger. So instead of saying, okay, I'm just going to stop, Elon said, yeah, that's an obstacle. I'm going to try to find a way around it, instead of just abandoning the project that actually sounds awesome.
Gee, the way tackling that project, I mean, that obstacle, is literally how he said it. It's just an issue that people die, and it sounds funny, but it is an issue. And instead of, as you said, shutting it down, coming up with an idea, coming up with a team that can work through it. It's what has accomplished Tesla to move forward. And there's many other industries that Elon Musk is in. And that's what the speaker talked about, of what Elon Musk does is he sees an industry that it's going to grow in the next 10 years, and then he sets up a company, or goes into a company with the disruptive teams, and grows with that exponential curve. And that's why he's so successful. And in that time, he's going to experience a lot of those issues. And that's the thing that is making him successful, and other people have to follow it. As you said, it's an issue, and not seeing it as an obstacle, but just as an issue that they have to overcome and work through.
Yeah, 100%.
Everything sounds crazy until it's done, right? And especially nowadays, like, if you want to grow your business, people face a lot of backlash when you're trying to innovate, you know, because people see you as crazy, and they think that your ideas won't work. And so you have to know who you're working with, and be constantly open to new ideas.
Yeah, so I think those are the main points of the video. So if any of you guys would like to add something else.
I'd say we covered a lot of space with this conversation.
Yeah. So I would say that, just to conclude, one key point that they said is the metabolism of the company.
Right.
Yeah, talking about all these terms and everything makes it a little bit complicated, but to wrap up, disruptive innovation is basically just going against the flow and doing things differently. And this is what helps the company have a fast metabolism, because, as I said, the metabolism of the company has to be at least as fast as the outer world. If it is lower, it will die. And the question is just when. But if the company is faster, that's when innovation comes in. And when people get shocked and see, like, as Sebastian said, it is impossible until it's done. So yeah, I would say that, to conclude, in order for a company to stay afloat and even succeed beyond what is expected, the metabolism of the company has to be faster than the outer world.
Perfect. Well, this has been Team 2, and we hope that you enjoyed our discussion. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.